Life is just fundamentally uncertain. The weather, your health, the stock market, it's all a bit of a gamble. But what if it didn't have to be? What if you could design a perfect system to handle all that randomness? What if you could literally create a market for uncertainty itself? Well, today, we're going to dive into exactly that idea by unpacking the beautiful and kind of mind-bending world of the Arrow-Debreu model.
And I mean, truly anything. No, I'm not just talking about your car or your house. What if you could buy an insurance policy that pays you out if it rains on your wedding day? Or a contract that pays you if your favorite sports team completely botches the championship game? That's the wild thought experiment at the heart of one of the most powerful ideas in all of economics.
So to really get our heads around this, let's tell a story. Let's meet our hero, a farmer. For him, his entire livelihood, all his hard work for an entire year, comes down to one single thing he can't control: the weather. He's basically making one giant bet against Mother Nature every single season.
So for our farmer, the future can really only go one of two ways. Economists call these states of the world. In one state, the rain is great, he has an amazing year and brings in $120. But in the other state, a drought hits. And just like that, his income is chopped in half down to $60. It's a total boom or bust life, right? There's really no middle ground.
So, the big question is, how does he get off this roller coaster? How can he escape this coin flip existence? Well, this is where the Arrow-Debreu model proposes something fascinating. We're not talking about your average insurance policy here. We're talking about something way more precise, almost magical.
Okay, so the fancy term for this magic is a contingent commodity. Don't let the jargon throw you off. This is the absolute core building block of the whole idea. Just think of it like a hyper-specific lottery ticket for reality. It's a contract that pays you $1, but, and this is the key part, only if a very specific future happens. So for our farmer, he could buy a contract that pays out only if the drought hits.
And of course, this magical promise isn't free. It has a price tag. Economists call it the state price. You pay a little bit of money today, think of it as a premium, for the right to get cash in one very specific version of the future. It's a way to move money not just through time, but across different possible realities. Pretty cool, right? Now stick with me, because this is where the idea completely explodes in scale. What if it wasn't just about our farmer and his drought? What if we could create one of these unique contracts, a contingent commodity, for every single possible thing that could ever happen? This is basically the recipe for building that perfect Arrow-Debreu market. Step 1, you map out every possible future. Step 2, you create one of these special contracts for each of those futures. Step 3, everybody gets together and trades these contracts before anyone knows which future will actually happen. And the goal? Well, the goal is to sell off the risks you can't stand and buy up the protection for the futures that keep you up at night. Now, here's the really brilliant part. The price of these contracts isn't just random. Think about it. If everyone is terrified of a drought, then that drought insurance is going to be a hot commodity, and its price will go up. The market automatically balances how likely each future is with how desperately people would need money in that future. The prices actually reflect our human needs.
So what's the end result for our farmer? Well, it's a total game changer. He can sell off a piece of his potential windfall from the good rainfall future and use that cash to buy more protection for the drought future. By making this trade, he completely smooths out the highs and lows. He locks in a guaranteed income of $90, no matter what the sky decides to do. That's the ultimate goal, smoothing things out.
Okay, this all sounds absolutely amazing. Perfect even. So, why isn't our world like this? Let's bring this beautiful theory back down to our messy, complicated reality and see how they stack up. Really, it all boils down to one word: precision. In the Arrow-Debreu world, you have a surgical tool. You can isolate and trade one specific risk. In our world, we trade with blunt instruments. Think about a stock. It's not a clean bet on one thing. It's a messy bundle of risks. Is the CEO any good? What's the economy doing? What about the competition? All our real-world tools, like stocks and insurance policies, are just approximations of those perfect contracts.
And that leads us to the critical question for our actual financial system. Can we take all our blunt instruments, our stocks, our bonds, or insurance plans, and can we somehow stitch them together to create that same perfect protection you get in the theory?
And the answer to that question lies in a concept called market completeness.
A market is complete if you have enough different tools in your toolbox to build a perfect hedge for any possible risk. But if you can't, if there is some risks that none of your assets can protect you against, then your market is incomplete, and that means there are some dangers out there you just can't insure away.
So, you might be thinking, okay, if our markets are incomplete, why do we even bother with this perfect theory? And that's a great question. We care because even though it's not our reality, it gives us a vital blueprint.
Look, the Arrow-Debreu model is our North Star. It's the gold standard that shows us what a perfect risk-sharing system could be, and that helps us see the flaws in our own system. You know, when you have insurance, something bad happens, and the payout doesn't quite cover your actual loss? That frustrating gap, that's a real-world symptom of market incompleteness. The model gives us the language to identify and understand these problems.
And this quote here really gets to the human heart of it all. At the end of the day, the whole point of a financial market is to help people weather the storms of life, to let us trade a little bit of our good fortune today for security against the bad times tomorrow.
So, the Arrow-Debreu model shows us this perfect world of shared risk. Our own financial system is an imperfect but still incredibly powerful attempt to get there, which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Living in our incomplete market, what's the one risk in your own life that you really wish you could buy some of that magical insurance against?